So we're going to listen to our first company presentation of the day. The first company to present to us is Torigen. Torigen provides veterinary immunotherapies for companion animals with cancer and autoimmune diseases. The company's first product, VetiVax, is an autologous cancer immunotherapy that uses the patient's own tumors to create a personalized treatment. Speaking on behalf of Torigen is Ashley Kalinauskas, who is the CEO of the company. He's also the founder of Torigen and is doing a great job running Torigen. So Ashley, we'll turn the session over to you.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, David. I appreciate it, and always happy to be here to tell you more about the company that I love building, Torigen. So, really to start off, we have two products. We have VetiVax, which is a personalized cancer vaccine. The term that you are looking for is autologous. And what autologous means is that we utilize the patient's own tumor cell as the backbone for the creation of a personalized therapy in order to help prevent that tumor from coming back. So what happens is after a veterinarian surgically excises the tumor, gets sent to our lab, we create that personalized treatment, and within 2 weeks, we send it back to the veterinarian for administration once per week for 3 weeks. It's a product that can be utilized for solid-based tumors. So I'll go through and share some data that we have for hemangiosarcoma. We also have data for high-grade mast cell tumors, and we work for additional solid-based tumors like soft tissue sarcomas, melanomas, and squamous cell carcinomas. So last year we generated $2 million in revenue, and we're working through our final study for USDA prescription product status. Right now we're considered an experimental product, so getting over that hurdle is going to allow us to really open things up. Over 60% of our veterinary customers were repeat orderers, and sometimes that really is driven from the pet owner as the first interaction. So we're actively working on continuing to grow that repeat order rate. We also launched a specialty pathology service within the business. So really big things are coming from Torigen. And then on the opposite side, we have Leukothera, which is a product that's also aimed at being able to help the immune system fight autoimmune diseases like atopic dermatitis, which is a billion-dollar market in animal health, as well as dry eye disease and even IBD, irritable bowel disease. So we'll run through all of those and really give kind of just some more highlights about the company. So our two leading immunotherapy products, both VetiVax and Leukothera, hit major market opportunities within the veterinary industry. And we're headquartered in Farmington, Connecticut, where we do our manufacturing. We have a full clean room, an amazing team surrounding this small business. And our immunotherapies are really aimed at being able to treat some of the most difficult diseases affecting pets and their families. When we think about cancer, cancer is the leading cause of death in 50% of all dogs over the age of 10. So it's a huge problem. It's a huge emotional tie too, because owners are looking for what other options can I do to help my pet that aren't chemotherapy. And when we look at the other diseases, autoimmune diseases that Leukothera can help, allergic or atopic dermatitis, dry eye disease, and IBD, again, these are huge, not only market problems, they're huge problems facing our pets. And treating these diseases really can unlock a multi-billion-dollar animal health opportunity. So with 1 out of 4 dogs being diagnosed with cancer or 1 out of 3 being diagnosed with some sort of autoimmune disease, this is really where Torigen excels. We're experts in immunology and being able to help pets after they're afflicted with one of these diseases, both dogs, cats, horses, and even in this past year, we've treated dolphins at SeaWorld, a lemur, and just some amazing exotic animals as well. Because at the end of the day, families really want safe, accessible, and affordable treatment options that actually target the underlying disease. And Veterinarians need better tools for managing these diseases in their patients. And at Torigen, we're creating those solutions, helping pets to empower vets. So, with our two platforms, VetiVax and Leukothera, it's all about being able to provide these safe, affordable, and accessible treatment options. So again, VetiVax is the autologous cancer vaccine. It's a personalized therapy that's created utilizing a portion of the patient's own tumor that's submitted into our lab. Once it's at our lab, we have our diagnostic service to really understand exactly what's going on with that tumor, get an accurate diagnosis, but at the same time, we're banking back a portion of those tumor cells. So in the case that it is malignant, if this is a cancer that has a high potential for coming back and locally recurring, we can move forward to create that personalized vaccine. And then with Leukothera, this is a product that's still in development, but we have really strong data, both preclinically as well as clinically, pointing us in the right direction in order to show that this can be a really amazing product within animal health. So, how did Torigen get its start? I'm the founder and CEO, and I launched the company alongside my former professor, Dr. Mark Succo from the University of Notre Dame. So, I was a grad student working on the development of the personalized cancer vaccines that Mark had been working on previously. And really, this was a product that was aimed to help humans with prostate cancer, ovarian cancer, even melanoma. And we decided together to pivot to helping animals. The first patient that we treated was actually Mark's own dog. She was diagnosed with metastatic oral squamous cell carcinoma, and it worked. So from then on, it was about how can we bring this personalized cancer vaccine to be able to truly help pets with cancer. And over the years, we've expanded the Leukothera platform in order to really help those autoimmune diseases, which just allows for a bigger market opportunity. So I lead the company as CEO, Dr. Mark Succo, board member as well as co-founder. We have two veterinary oncologists full-time on staff, Dr. Mike LaCroix, Dr. Chelsea Greenberg, John Straley, our CFO, extremely amazing finance guy in biotech and has been helping us over the past year and a half. Dr. Ryan Clausen is our Chief Innovation Officer, and Sean is our Vice President of Market Development. So we've secured $20 million in financing to date, generated $6 million in revenue, and are really focused on being just a leader within the animal health industry. So when it comes to VetiVax and our cancer vaccine, cancer is the single largest cause of death in dogs, with 90% of new cancer cases never being seen or treated by a veterinary oncologist. There are about 400 practicing veterinary oncologists in the United States. Torigen has two on our team full time. And, when it comes to being able to get pets treated after a cancer diagnosis, of course, owners want to do anything they can, but more than half say they would never put their pet through chemotherapy or radiation therapy. So if that's the case, they get a cancer diagnosis, and I see it as now what? What do we do after this diagnosis? The barriers, owners are worried about side effects, out of pocket treatment costs, geographic distance to actually get the help that they need, long appointment times. It just keeps adding up. So, what pet owners really need is they need an accessible way to have a therapy be provided within their own general practitioner's office. So, again, how VetiVax works is it can be utilized in any general practitioner's office, administered by any veterinarian. We know that this is a safe therapy to be provided with multiple safety publications highlighting little to no adverse events. The cost to the pet owner is typically less than $2,000, and the administration is easy, just subcutaneous injections over a period of a few weeks. So it really addresses those barriers and really allows for there to be finally a solution within practice. So, our personalized cancer immunotherapy utilizes the patient's own tumor cell as our antigenic backbone. Our technology is about how we capture and harness that tumor cell, and we keep those structural proteins on the surface of that cell intact. Because when I think of cancer, I really think of it as a fingerprint of what went wrong, that the DNA that went awry within that cell has now resulted in proteins on the surface of that cell that look different from a normal, healthy cell. So what we need to do is be able to finally train the immune system that that cancer cell is different. Those fingerprints do not match. And what our immune system is able to do is recognize there. And now, by unmasking those proteins back to the immune system via a series of vaccines, we can help stimulate the body in order to create a response. So, how it works is the tumor is surgically removed, sent into our lab. Once it comes to our lab, we're going to run the diagnostics to see exactly what we're dealing with. And again, if it is cancer, we can move forward with the creation of the vaccine in a 2-week turnaround time to get it back to the veterinarian for quick and easy administration. When it comes to our safety and efficacy data, we have published safety data in dogs, cats, horses, noting that about 2% of doses are associated with an adverse event, and those adverse events are injection site redness, irritation, and mild lethargy. So in the grand scheme of things, we know that this is a product that can be administered really safely. And when it comes to overall efficacy, on the right, we have some of our published data for metastatic hemangiosarcoma, which is really one of the worst cancers we see in veterinary medicine, where we were able to have a 3.5 times increase in overall survival compared to surgery alone by utilizing our vaccine, and it was equivalent to maximum tolerated dose chemotherapy. So for us, that really showed that for one of the most aggressive cancers in veterinary medicine, we were able to push out that overall survival curve. We have additional data sets for high-grade mast cell tumors that have been presented, and more data being accumulated every day. So VetiVax has delivered, we see it as a new profit center for veterinarians too. When an owner is diagnosed, their pet's diagnosed with cancer, they don't have other options. And for the first time, we're able to provide an option to any veterinarian in order to help that pet come back after that cancer diagnosis, because otherwise they're going to go home and maybe the next appointment is euthanasia, unfortunately. This really provides more reason to get that pet back in through the door. It allows veterinarians to practice better medicine because they're seeing that pet more often, and that owner is coming in order to ensure that their overall health of their pet is sustained and moving forward. So the cost to the veterinarian for our vaccine is just over $1,000. So the veterinarians do make a markup, but it really allows us to build out a nice potential market opportunity for this product. So I was just at a conference 2 weeks ago, and they're projecting the veterinary oncology market to go from $300 million a year to $1.7 billion over the next 10 years. I don't even have a slide in my deck about it because that was just new information that was presented out. Like, this is a rapidly growing market, but the only way the market is going to be able to be captured is by working with specialists and general practitioners. There are 40,000 veterinarians. There are about 400 general practitioners. We have to be able to look at that bigger market. So, our goal is to really continue uptake, to get our product to cash flow break even, to grow our repeat order rate, and to continue working with distributors in order to get our product out there in the most cost-effective way possible. When it comes to Leukothera, this is really where I believe Torigen has a strong opportunity to really, really crush it in the market and do big things, because this is one drug target, multiple drug indications, and $2 billion in potential market opportunities. So not only is atopic dermatitis one of the biggest market potentials, also looking at utilizing this for KCS, dry eye disease, and IBD, irritable bowel disease, really allows us to have multiple shots on goal. We have robust preclinical safety data as well as clinical safety data. We know we treat the underlying disease, and it's one drug target for multiple drug products. So, what is Leukothera? Leukothera is a novel bacterial toxin that's purified, and it's able to bind to rapidly dividing white blood cells. So, when a white blood cell or a leukocyte is rapidly dividing and migrating out from the blood vessel into the interstitial tissues, that's when it's releasing all of its inflammatory cytokines and kind of wreaking havoc. What Leukothera does is it only binds to those active white blood cells, meaning that there's no broad spectrum immunosuppression, and it really allows a nice knockout of those kind of factories that are producing those cytokines in a really nice and really specific way. So we know that Leukothera is underpinned by some very robust POC data. Again, this was a product originally developed for humans. It's actually continuing on the development for humans, and Torigen has worldwide veterinary rights for the development of this product. So manufacturing, formulation are done. Our CMC is in progress. We have preclinical data for dry eye disease and atopic allergic dermatitis. We have clinical safety, as well as we had a clinical tolerability study for dry eye disease that's already done. Right now, we have a proof of concept study for dry eye disease that's in progress, and we're aiming to start atopic dermatitis with additional capital being raised. So when it comes to dry eye disease, about 1% of all dogs are diagnosed with chronic dry eye disease. However, a lot of patients go through kind of more cyclical changes throughout their life. So what we know is that Leukothera is able to nicely and specifically get the patient back up to baseline tear production, and be able to help that pet after their diagnosis. What's also really great about this data is we compared it against cyclosporin and tacrolimus. This is mouse model data. This black line up top, this is kind of the normal baseline control. This was an induction of immunogenic dry eye disease. And then down here was cyclosporin and tacrolimus that were administered daily, compared to Leukothera that was administered once per week. So we did our tolerability study. We know that this is very safe to be provided in dog eyes. So that's a great check mark for us. And we have ongoing proof of concept efficacy study in dogs right now that's fully funded by a major animal health strategic. When it comes to atopic and allergic dermatitis, this is the billion-dollar market opportunity. We have two products, Apoquel and Cytopoint, that make up that nearly $1 billion of market. What Apoquel is it's a pill taken orally every day, and it's going to block some parts of the nervous system. It's a JAK inhibitor. It's going to block that nervous system to stop that itch. And what Cytopoint is, it's a monoclonal antibody. So it's an injection given once per month. And it's going to stop the interleukin 31 from being able to bind to those itch receptors. What Leukothera has is it has both an upstream and downstream effect. So we're able to kill those overactive CD4 positive T helper cells to stop that cytokine production, and then also naturally stopping that inflammation from happening. So this is really one of the first products to be potentially introduced to the market over time in order to have that effect. We know that we're able to stop itch at the source, and it addresses what families want. We treat the disease, not just the symptoms. We have a durable therapeutic effect, reduces the long-term side effects associated with products like Apoquel or those JAK inhibitors, and it gives veterinarians what they need. 20% of atopic patients do not respond to Apoquel or Cytopoint. If I took 20% of that market, that's $200 million a year, and I would be very happy with that. So it could be a synergistic tool. It could potentially be a standalone. We have additional testing in order to truly understand that and be able to really get to these potential market opportunities. So we're looking at kind of those multi-billion dollars of potential opportunity there in the overall total addressable market, and aiming to grow that. timeline and costs, we're looking at really stagnating and building this out, but about $8 million in total costs here for our timeline through the middle of 2026. But once we're done with that, we see this as getting us to those exitable opportunities, having for dry eye disease, proof of concept data, dosing data, advancing our CMC package, and for atopic derm, proof of concept data, dosing data. You now are able to reach into what those exitable opportunities are looking like because you've de-risked the asset. So our growth and investment ask. Veterinary therapeutic platforms are really unlocking value at a record pace. We've seen some of the biggest exits happen over the past couple of years within animal health, upwards of the most recent being a $520 million exit by Dechra in July of last year for a monoclonal antibody platform. So Torigen is, widely recognized as a commercial stage biotech company within the animal health space. We're very well connected. We have amazing, team that's worked at some of the leading animal health players, and we're really positioned in order to understand how we can get this to an exitable opportunity. So I'm raising a Series B of $10 million, and I have a convertible note for $2 million. So that brings us to $12 million total. The objective of that $12 million is for VetiVax to get us to cash flow break even, and for Leukothera, $10 million for the overall development to get us to a really strategic licensing deal after we hit through all of those POC data. And that convertible note is currently open. So we've closed 4.28 already. We have about $2 million that are remaining. Some really nice terms associated with that note. But for our company, it's all about getting the capital that we need in order to continue doing what we do best, which is making a difference in the lives of pets and their owners. So with that, David, I'm happy to hand it over. And, if there's any questions that you may have, I think I just stopped my share.
Yeah, thank you very much. Very nice presentation, very interesting company. Do have a couple of questions. On the slide, did you say that typically there's 12 shots in a regimen to treat cancer?
So for our cancer vaccine, it's 3 shots administered once per week for 3 weeks.
Okay. And are you targeting veterinary practices in wealthier areas? If you look at something like dry eye, I'm not sure that's a pain point for a lot of companion pet owners. Um,
It
so
is. If you have a pet that is diagnosed with dry eye disease, you're looking at administering the cyclosporin or tacrolimus up to 3 times per day. And you have a dog with a crusty, goopy eye. Dry eye doesn't seem like it's that bad, but when you have a pet that has been diagnosed with it, this is a chronic-based condition. So those owners are typically going to a veterinary ophthalmologist. There are more ophthalmologists than there are oncologists because of, this being a big problem. And for us, if we can have maybe daily administration and then move it out to once weekly administration, that would be a huge win for the veterinary community. So for us, being able to focus on, it's really any veterinary clinic. They're seeing both cancer as well as these autoimmune based diseases at a very regular rate. For our cancer vaccine, we don't have a difference between demographics. We have clinics in Arkansas and clinics in New York City that use us. And that's because owners are looking for options. Now, those owners in New York City, everything at that cancer, that's perfectly fine. But also we have some people in New York City that say, I don't want to put my pet through chemo, and they keep it just as simply as that. And I saw Dr. Hauser nodding a few times with how bad dry eye disease can really be, as well as with cancer. And Dr. Hauser, are you a general practitioner or what is your specialty?
Yes, I'm actually a veterinary business consultant now, but I am a former hospital owner. I was a small animal generalist.